Okay, having spent years, I know you wouldn't believe it from looking at me, having spent years doing boxing and martial arts and playing music, one thing you have to understand is that all of those crafts are built on the knowledge of fundamentals, okay? Major scale, minor scale, center punch, front kick, left jab, and then how you put those all together. So when we're talking about narcissists, you can hardly understand more about fundamentals than when you talk about what we call the idealize, devalue, and discard cycle. You'll see this one all over the internet, all over the web pages. Idealize, devalue, discard. Think of it like a child who gets a new toy. He's very excited on Christmas morning that he has this brand new toy, and it's so exciting. It's the most exciting thing in his life. But after a few days, he starts getting bored of it. Maybe gets another toy and throws that old toy aside and forgets about it and couldn't care less and gets a new toy, having forgotten about the old toy. Sometimes he might get angry with the older toy if it breaks or doesn't work like he wants it to, and then he'll bash its head and punish the old toy, angry toy, get his new toy, and then this new toy is better than the old toy. That's exactly what narco weirdos do with human beings. I'm thinking about the times when I was in the idealized phase with my narcissist. At the time when you're dealing with these weirdos, you don't think anything of it. You just don't think anything of it. You are wonderful. Yo, you are smart. Oh, you are this. You are that. Oh, yeah, I like the way you calibrated that. Oh, you are wonderful. Almost to a point where it's sickeningly absurd. Every little thing I do, oh, you are wonderful. You took 2 steps. Oh, that, yeah, yes, And then seemingly he meets new supply, and the next day, I'm total crap. I'm worthless. I'm garbage. That is an instant devaluation, discard in one hit. But generally, before I was discarded and told how worthless and inferior I was, I noticed he was bleeding in the underhanded jabs, the constant inferior. Anybody but make an argument like that is very stupid. Not you, of course, yes, yeah, but anyone else, you see. It's those underhanded jabs I was talking about. So I do recognize the point when I was being idealized as this wonderful person, smart, and I recognize the point where I was devalued, you're inferior, uneducated, and then totally discarded. So then when I was trying to contact him after he'd found the new supply, because I didn't know how all this worked, I thought the guy just, got married like normal human beings do. But normal is not his thing. Human being is not his thing. They don't know how to human. They don't know how to normal. So I didn't understand how somebody, I believed to be friends with for like 13 years could just drop me like I was nothing. I'm just nothing anymore. I don't need you. And then when I'd contact him, his wife, who was the target, but also his flying monkey, she wouldn't talk to me much about Facebook. Everything was an insult. You're not a real Christian. You don't love your family. Or she said, you even love your own family. Everything was condescending and demeaning, false accusations. She'd gotten into my school records, but I know where that was coming from. Now, I think she's a bit narcissistic, too. I think, in a sense, she's a victim, a target, but I think also there's a bit of a double narcissistic reflection going on there, and that does happen. But I didn't understand what was called the narcissistic discard, so I can't figure out. So I'm looking like a stalker and a weirdo because I still want to be friends with this guy when the man never saw me as a friend. He doesn't have friends. He can't have friends. The whole concept of friend is foreign to his screwed up mind. So for me to try to say, hey, look, man, what happened? Why did you ditch me? Why don't you talk to me anymore? Then he'd say, quit talking about us on your stupid Facebook. Okay. Well, I was done with him, but then he's tried to contact me. Be my friend, and I'm shutting that down, because, when I was falling for it, thinking that he was trying to what we call a re-idealization. Remember, I'm really smart and wonderful at first. Then you're stupid, inferior, stupid god bug. Then it's like, get out of my life. Do not contact me. Our friendship is over. Fair enough. Friendship's over. I finally accepted that. Cut him out of my life. So I get contacted again. Oh, I'm glad our friendship, but we never had a friendship. That's what you got to understand. You never had a friendship. Because he never saw you as anything but an object. He, she, it. More like it. That depersonalizes it because they're not persons. So you're the most wonderful thing. Then all of a sudden you start catching these underhanded jabs. When you're the most wonderful thing on the planet, you're in the idealization phase. When you start becoming cut down and all these jabs, you're being devalued. And then ultimately you'll be dropped like nothing. And then there's the smear campaign, which I talked about in my other video. But now the narc was in a re-idealization, and he tried to pretend like he wanted to be my friend, and I was sort of falling for it. Until his pet monkey of a wife, that moron, I can say that because, yes, she's a target, but she's also a narcissist herself, I believe, and she's a flying monkey. Starts telling me off and all this stuff, and then he's like, "She sure gave you a good tongue lashing." "Oh, yeah, she sure did. She taught you a lesson." And I'm like, okay, right there. If I ever doubted myself, if I ever doubted that this guy was a narcissist, because I kind of said, well, maybe I had it wrong, what would have let me know is that 2 days, on the second day, this guy wastes no time. On the second day, after I recontacted him, he needed to punish me again by using his wife to give me a good tongue lashing and show me a lesson. That right there just answers it. That just shows that he truly is a super narc. So it's the idealized phase when they first meet you. In the case of romance, it's a lot of love bombing. In the case of, quote, friendships, they have them, but it's a lot of compliments. Then you'll start realizing, you get into the devaluation phase, they'll start making all these underhanded comments and, like, you know, saying mean things and things to try to break you down and make you feel bad about yourself and worthless. And then ultimately the discard. And then the discard, they will smear the new target behind your back, and they'll smear everybody. And the reason they're doing that is not only to destroy you emotionally, because they want you totally destroyed, but also to cover up their own tracks of the disgusting, filthy, subhuman thing that they are, because they have to keep a new image. Oh, I'm a wonderful person. But by slandering you, they're trying to destroy your credibility so no one will believe you of the monster they really are. And at the same time, they want to completely destroy you because you must be punished for having been born. Because they're weird. They're nuts. They're sociopaths. They are essentially sociopaths. I mean, or, you know, there's a fine line between malignant narcissism and sociopathy. So you have Idealize, you're the most wonderful thing on the planet. Devalue, you can't do anything right, you are inferior. And discard, get out of my life, you unscientific bunch of particles, and do not contact me again. And by the way, they're right. Do not contact them again. And when they try to contact you, don't contact them again. I've blocked mine. I think I've blocked him. I hope I've blocked him. If not, if he contacts me, I'm just going to click block. No big deal. You know, he thinks he's a big deal, but he's no big deal. Anyway, I'm not worried about it, but that's my example. I just wanted you guys to have a general knowledge of the idealize, devalue, and discard phase. So that's what we call it.